Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, and as John Campea calls me, your existential Mr. Rogers. That's right, Robert Meyer. Burnett and I'm here with another John Campea Show mailbag for Thursday, March 16th, 2023, the day before St. Paddy's Day. Let's just see what y'all have to say. T-Bone says, I love the Comics Explained channel too. I love that channel. Ever see his breakdowns of Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four or X-Men? I did, because I wanted to catch up with the Power of X and House of X. Hickman's run on X-Men began there, and I read that, but I wanted to see what happened after. And then, of course, because of that run, I went and bought Hickman's Fantastic Four omnibuses because of the channel. So I think it's a great place to go. It's a great resource. And I've watched a lot of videos on that channel. Tack Love says, hey, John, I was watching The Incredible Hulk, and I thought I was seeing things when I noticed a soldier that looked like a certain good Canadian kid. You mind quickly telling us the story of how that happened? You know, I should know this, because John's told this story many times. Unfortunately, Tack, I don't remember it. But I'm sure that there's plenty of places he's told the story in my presence at least 6 or 7 times over the years. I should remember it, and I feel bad that I don't. So I apologize for not knowing that story. Let's see where we're at here. Bry Guy D. Stringham says, hey, John, here's my pitch for an original animated film, Blood Sugar. Tells the story of Fang, a young autistic vampire Batgirl with type 1 diabetes. I would watch that. You could probably get that made. I mean, Blood Sugar, I like it. It can be very funny. You should write it. Write it and get, there's got to be, in a couple of years, they're going to have AI animation programs. People are going to be making their own animated films. You should do it. Make it happen. Devin says, hey, John and crew, not that runtime matters for a film, but over or under 40% Deadpool 3 ends up being around the 2.5 hour mark or longer and make easily close to $1 billion. I'm predicting it'll come close for both. Thoughts? Bring on the filthy. Devin, you know what? I think you're bang on. I will go over around the 2.5 hour mark. I think you're right on that. Again, it really depends on the story, but I could see it being a crazy, convoluted story with all kinds of cameos and wacky nuttiness in it. It is Wolverine and Deadpool. I think they're going to get as much mileage as they can out of it. And $1 billion, I would expect nothing less. Really, I think you're absolutely bang on the money right there, buddy. Ejtan says, what's up, John? Well, it's me, though, unfortunately. Well, of course, I haven't done one of these in a while, so hey, it's kind of fun for me. What up, John? It was so awesome being able to meet you in person back at the event in Burbank, California, where you were talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I would love to do it again because that was so much fun. Maybe on Last of Us. Well, The Last of Us is over. But, I think, John, that was a pretty successful event for everybody. So I would not be surprised if you do, in fact, hear about another one of those events. I'm sorry I missed it. I had a family thing. I couldn't go. But, yeah. Devin M. is back. Devin says, I just want to take a moment and thank you for bringing back Mailbag. It truly does make it easier on me when watching. I hope it's easy for you as well. I very much enjoy being a part of the Campea community. I love watching the show. Keep it up. Well, Devin, first of all, we love having you as part of the Campea community. And, I'm happy, John. I like doing mailbags. I mean, I hope you're not disappointed that you don't have the man himself, but I do enjoy them. I do enjoy doing these. I feel like I'm talking to the community, and I like that. And, yeah, Ghost of Gandalf is just showing some support. Hashtag I hunted for Tobey Maguire's D. Did you find it? Gary Bueller says, when are you and Rob coming on Friday Night Tights? Well, actually, that would be kind of funny, but it's Gary Beekler, not Gary Bueller. But that's like Ferris Bueller. But I don't know. I can't imagine John and I going on Friday Night Tights, although one never knows. Because John doesn't really stream, to be serious, with other YouTubers. You know, he kind of keeps it to himself, which I understand that. I know other YouTubers that feel the same way. Jake Gearing says, House of the Dragon, Andor, The Last of Us. If you were able to watch the second season of one of these shows right now, which would you choose if you're only allowed one? Notice how I didn't include Rings of Power. Oh, I noticed. Jake, good question. For me, probably House of the Dragon, mostly because that's the furthest one away, really. I mean, I loved Andor, but I can wait. And Last of Us just finished, so I can wait for that too. So I'm going to go with House of the Dragon. Of those three shows, I probably like that the most. But they're all great. I mean, what a time to be a fan of this kind of genre material, because, oh my God, it's great. A. Marcellus says, hey, John, maybe I am misremembering, but I thought you'd mentioned a while back bringing on or collaborating with smaller movie YouTubers to help boost their numbers. Was that ever a thing, or I'm going crazy? A. Marcellus, you know what John was doing? He was just randomly, like, jumping on other, like, really small YouTube channels, jumping into their streams and, like, donating $50. He did that for a while to brand new YouTubers. It was very cool. It was very cool to see how they reacted to it. I don't know if he's done it in a while though, but I liked him doing it. It was cool to see the reactions. Plus, it was a nice thing to do. Ben A. says, hey, John and crew, after reading the Affleck article, it reminded me of your criticism of James Gunn using social media a bit too much. He shouldn't have made the meeting between the two public unless Affleck signed onto a DC Universe project officially. You know, I think you might be right about that, Ben A. Also, I think that maybe by Ben Affleck responding publicly, or at least in the interview that John covered today, or we covered today on the John Campea Show, that's it bites you in the face. I mean, for me, you know, in Hollywood, I don't like to talk about projects unless they're ready to go, unless it's been signed. As a matter of fact, I don't even like putting projects on IMDb until they've been shot, because you never know what's going to happen, and everybody's always so eager. Let's get it on the IMDb. I'm like, no, let's not do that. Let's not do that until the project's shot. What difference does it make? But everybody wants it up there. But yeah, you might be right about that. Sydney Prescott. Hey, John and crew, going to see Scream 6 tomorrow. Really looking forward to it. I've been going back and rewatching the first 5 Scream films and enjoying them again. Well, Sydney, I'm glad you're enjoying them, and I'll be curious to hear what you think about Scream 6. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. It was a lot of fun. Sydney Prescott going to see Scream 6. Alan Renshaw says, if Marvel brings in Franklin Richards, how do you think they should portray the character, and could they make him as powerful as the comic book version? In the comics, he is insanely powerful, and one time he resurrected Galactus and defeated the Celestials. Alan, I hope if they go with Franklin Richards, he's a younger version of Franklin Richards and isn't that powerful. To me, that's way overpowered, and it'd be very difficult to make a character like that powerful. I think the Marvel Universe has a credibility problem, an in-universe credibility problem. And what I mean by that is, like, I recently went back and, watched Endgame and even Infinity War. And, you know, they're pretty grounded for all the shenanigans that happen, all the crazy cosmic stuff, because you go to Titan, but you're at these earthbound locations. And like at the beginning of Infinity War, when Ebony Maw comes down with the Black Order and you are watching them fight in the streets of New York, it feels much more real than, say, Quantumania did. And it's kind of, I think if you had somebody like Franklin Richards and was that powerful and could do those crazy things, it would be difficult to make an audience believe in them. But I don't know. I think it'd be tough. Stubble McShave, our friend Stubble, all the way from Sweden. Stubble says Michael Caine turned 90 this week. What Michael Caine movie is your favorite? I love Get Carter, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and the Harry Palmer movies. It's too bad they weren't successful in turning Harry Palmer into the grittier Bond franchise they wanted. You know what, though? Of those I have the Harry Palmer box set. I love, like, Billion Dollar Brain. But you're right. I mean, there's so many great Michael Caine movies, but I think one of my favorites is The Man Who Would Be King with Sean Connery. And I'm telling you, John Huston directed it. That is a wonderful film if you haven't seen it. So check that out. Christopher, I can't believe Michael Caine's 90. Christopher Rosato said, out of these 2024 films based on no information, which one do you think will be the highest grossing? Ooh, Wicked, Captain America 4, Despicable Me 4, Mufasa the Lion King, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2, or Snow White. That is tough. I would go with, I think, Mufasa the Lion King. Now, is that an animated sequel? Because those are we know those are over $1 billion. I'm going to go with Mufasa the Lion King. But again, it depends how good it is. And if Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 just is amazing and it makes $2 billion, then I would say that. But I think because I know nothing, and that's the parameter you gave me, Christopher, I'm going to say Mufasa the Lion King. I think so. Jason Kaufman said, on Ted Lasso, have you noticed the hilarious similarity between Rupert's office and Emperor Palpatine's throne room? Yes, and I'll tell you something, Jason, you know, you look around at some of the photographs from, like, before Season 3 launched, they look like they were Star Wars photographs. They look, I mean, it has to be intentional, doesn't it? I mean, like, it has to be intentional. Just... Indeed. I think you're absolutely bang on correct. And you're not wrong. And that's, by the way, kids, that's it. That brings us to the end. This was just a quick one, but I'm happy to have done it. I think I'm going to go see Shazam. And I want to thank everybody for bearing with me. And I know this was a short mailbag, but we'll do long mailbags later. I was just happy to come back. Once again, my name is Robert Meyer Burnett. You can find me here on the John Campea Show, or you can find me on Instagram at rmburnett, or find me on my own YouTube channel, The Burnett Work. And so there you go. And that's all the news that's fit to print. And have a good St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. I hope the luck of the Irish is with you.